Hello everyone, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a super grand day, and let's go ahead and get into today's video. So as you can probably tell from the title, I am bringing you guys a island living house. I'm very excited for you guys to see it. I feel like my building has been getting a little bit better, which is good because I've been building a lot more lately, so I hope it's improving. So I did kind of want to make my builds, but keeping all of the landscape as it was, or really close to how it is, because I thought it was really pretty, and I don't know how to landscape in general. I will admit, at the very end, I do add like a little shed because I just didn't have enough room in the house. For the Sims who were living here, and the shed ruins everything. It's kind of ugly, so when you guys see it, please don't laugh. We don't talk about the shed. As I was building this house, I was kind of building it a little bit for the Sims who I plan to put in here. But then I decided that they weren't going to live here. And so I kind of just finished up building it. And this is kind of like their temporary house, but it's not really for them anymore. So yeah, but I'll tell you a little bit about the family I was building for. So if you happen to have watched my I don't know what order my videos go up in. I like bulk record them whenever I just feel like recording, and then eventually I'll do a voiceover and edit, and then eventually it uploads. But even when it's uploaded, who knows when it'll get posted, because then I have to make sure I have a thumbnail to go with it. So it could really be out in the most random order, but I recently did a YouTube video, a voiceover for a different house. I don't even know what house it was. I really just exported it. So we're going to go find it in real time because I refuse not to quote what it is now. So, it was okay. I did my teenage parent apartment furnishing. And in that video, I was just talking about random stuff like nonsense, as per usual. Um, and I don't even know why I needed them anymore. Okay, so let me just tell you about these Sims. So I think it was just because they're descendants of a legacy family, as in, like, you know, when you play Sims and you happen to have a family that, like, you love near and dear to your heart, and they happen to just make their way into every save, no matter what, pretty much. Yeah, so I have, like, two families like that. One of them is known as, like, the Rowans family, and the other one I call the Saldivar family, but most of them either have the surname Saldivar or Oliver, and they're both from, like, the original first couple of the family, so I don't care. But yeah, so anyways, this is one of their middle children because my founding couple had a lot of kids. A lot. Some of them I played, some of them just happened to come in through fruition. So that's hilarious. And this just happens to be one of them. Her name's Candace. She lives such a wild life. Like, she's one of my favorite Sims to ever play with. She, basically is a bodybuilder aspiration, but she's an archaeologist, and that's how they make a lot of their money, is that she does a lot of archaeology related things. So she obviously goes and like digs up artifacts. She uncovers them, analyzes them, sells them. She sells them on those super amazingly expensive yard sale tables. She had her own archaeology shop, and she'll probably have another one in the save, but I want to completely rebuild it because the last one was really tacky. She also does some uncovering artifacts for other people. And yeah, and that's how she makes a lot of her money. And I think she's also written like a couple textbooks too. And then she ends up marrying a man named Alan Torres, who she met in El Salvador. That came out. That was close-ish, if not it. And they got married. And they're a beautiful romantic couple, but there's like a very annoying, like, little bug in my game where, like, every once in a while a married couple will not, like, I won't have the ability to have them have a romantic interaction anymore, like, at all. Like, the romance part just, like, disappears. I don't know why, don't know how, and I don't know how to fix it, and I really don't want to, like, uninstall my entire game and reinstall everything. So this is where we are right now. But yeah, so that's annoying, and that's what happened. So right now I can't make them be romantic at all, but I also have, like, MC Command Center in, and also with that update where you can have them, like, have children and stuff when you don't play with the active household or whatever. They ended up having a kid, and I wasn't mad about it. The game asked me what I wanted to name the kid because I have that turned on. Because I'm tired of my game giving me ridiculous names for kids. And it's like the most random thing that doesn't fit at all. So I named their daughter Sarai, which is after the founding Sims mom. Um, Actually, no, it's after the founding Sim, which is Candace's mom. And that's that. Love that for them. Alan, by the way, just to give a little update about him, he is basically like a really good cook, but he's like a home cook. He kind of has a career based off of writing, and he just pursues his passion because Candace makes a lot of money, so they're not worried about it. And it was funny because after I built like this whole house with like I didn't cheat this budget at all. Like this was their budget. I built this whole house, and I'm pretty sure I had a lot of money left over. So love that. I swear that yard sale is like such a cheat, but like love it. It's a great way to get your Sims rich. And yeah. So there's that. Anyways, how you guys doing today? I hope today's going good. If not, I hope that it gets better. And if not, remember that you always, well, you don't always have tomorrow, but I'm not here to bring that energy. So there's tomorrow, hopefully. Yeah. Anyways, I read a quote recently, and it said something along the lines of, please remember, it's not a bad day, it's just a bad moment. And even if it is a bad day, this is the second quote, and it was saying that if you feel like you've had a bad day, remember that it's not a bad life. And so both of those, I think, kind of help me when I'm kind of down because, you know, as a person existing in general with my own life, sometimes days are hard. So please remember that. Not a bad life, and sometimes not even a bad day. So, yeah. Hopefully that's, like, helpful for you. If not, I'm sorry. But I guess something I kind of want to talk about is I was on Netflix, right? And I had watched this movie, and it had, if you guys remember Karen from Mean Girls, and I'm pretty sure her name was Karen. She was like supposed to be the dumb one of the group, and it's crazy because anything I've seen of her like outside of Mean Girls happens to be like, for one, incredible, but it's usually something that's very sophisticated, strong, dominant personality, and so I'm very happy for her. But recently I watched this movie, and it was called Things Heard and Seen, and I'm kind of just going to tell you about it. So if you don't want to be spoiled, don't want to hear my opinions, don't care, go ahead and mute me, watch my build, and play some background music like you do you. But anyways, so I watched the movie Things Heard and Seen, and basically it was about this couple, and they seemed like a decently young couple. They were like maybe their early 30s or something of the sort, and they apparently met in art school. So you're supposed to believe that they were both artists, and yeah, they basically met, fell in love, and had a daughter. And basically, I don't know how many times I'm gonna say basically, but what's her name? We're gonna call her Karen because I just can't remember her character's name, and I can't be bothered to look it up. I know her. Okay, so her real name's Amanda, or at least that's her stage name. So we'll just call her Amanda. So Amanda, right, is this incredible restoration artist. She's very fascinated by art and history, and honestly, she's a whole vibe. Very educated woman, pretty strong. From the very beginning scene, you see that she has somewhat of an eating disorder, I believe. Because you just have, like, you watch her kind of throwing up a lot. So, trigger warnings for that. This is probably not how trigger warnings work, so I'm sorry that I didn't warn prior. But trigger warning for eating disorders, as well as abuse, and I think that's that. And so Amanda is, you know, in the opening scene, they're celebrating their daughter's birthday. Also, I'm sorry for this super long pause. I don't know why it's there, but we're just gonna roll with it. So Amanda and her husband are celebrating their daughter's birthday. And this is when there's also like an announcement that they're moving to, like, not really in the middle of nowhere exactly, but super far away from like their friends. And in my head I was like, oh my gosh, this is about to be a movie about like an abusive relationship, because you know how they say, well, not they say, but I've seen like frequently when this happens, it's usually like one partner trying to alienate the other and like keep them from their family and friends and stuff. So I thought that's what was happening. I may be right, but in the film, they move to this house, and Amanda's kind of fixing it up, cleaning it up, and seeing some really weird things happening. While her husband's like going off to work, and he's like finally feeling like a hot shot, and it's like a whole ordeal. And Amanda starts to feel like not only like super scared and bothered because her husband will not like listen to her when she tells him the really weird things in the house are going on. Um, but yeah, like even her and her daughter both see it. There's a spirit in the house, and he like is just kind of like, this place is amazing. You're just mad about it because you don't have a life here. And I was like, bro, don't be petty. And basically he goes to work, and he has tea there, and I don't know how to storytell. Like, I'm working on my storytelling skills because this is what I want to do. So practice makes progress. So please, have some patience. But yeah, so basically, well, he's okay. So let me just spill the tea. He was out there and he cheated on her, and it was ridiculous. It was disrespectful. Then while he was cheating, he was living it up at this school. All the girls were like, oh my gosh, you're so cute, you're so educated. And he used to like paint and all that, right? But then he wrote his dissertation, and with time there's just some vibes of like, this guy doesn't paint anymore, which is really weird, because if you like pour your heart and soul into something, especially for like so long, and like school, it's kind of like, why would you stop? Especially if it's like, especially an art form, it's kind of like you're usually passionate about it, so you only stop if you have like, there's always going to be a really good reason, right? Well, I wouldn't say always, but it just makes more sense, right? And so anywho, he he's at the school, everybody's like flocking all over him, and it's just like picture perfect. And so you're like, what's up with this guy? What's the drama? What's the tea, right? So I'm gonna spill it for you. So it turns out this guy, it's like such a long line. This guy had a cousin who was gay. Yeah. Okay, so I'm sorry. The cousin like doesn't show up in the movie, so I had to remember. But this he comes from a conservative family though, but they got along. I kind of, yeah, they got along. And then basically it's insinuated that Amanda's husband drowned his cousin on his cousin's like seaboat one day, because he kind of wanted to steal his identity, because his cousin actually was an artist and needed to paint, and he stole those two to get into art school, where he met Amanda, and they bonded, fell in love, got pregnant, got married, moved in together, and Amanda was killing it because her skill and passion was real and his wasn't. And then he was all sad, and he like stopped painting, but he didn't actually stop painting, he just could never paint in the first place, and he's been lying all this time. And because of that, he had apparently written this dissertation that was award winning, but I think there was like hints that it may have been plagiarized. I think it was plagiarized, I forget. And then when Amanda's husband like goes to ask like the art people who've read his dissertation, all that, to like give him a letter of recommendation to teach at a different school in regards to art, they said no, because they were like, you don't have skill, you don't have talent like that. And then he like takes his kids on a field trip, runs into the teacher he had asked a letter of recommendation, and they were like, how did you get a really good job at this school without a letter of recommendation? Because he refused to give it to him. And he was like, oh, I'm just a temp, right? But that was sus. And then one of his coworkers, who's been real sus of him the whole time, was like, what was that about? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, right? So then she's like really in his face, and she's like, everything's weird, you're super suspicious, because come on, he's super suspicious. And she calls him out one night after he just murdered the head professor, because the head professor was like, hey, I was informed that you plagiarized a letter of recommendation, we can't stand for that, you're obviously going to be fired. After our meeting, he talks him into meeting on a boat, because they're both boat people, and they went out on the boat before when they were cool, really good friends. And he's like, it saddens me to tell you this. And then he like murdered him and like drowned him, which is like super implied, but it's there, like it's fact, right? So then he's like dripping wet, and that's when Amanda's friend slash the husband's coworker is like, you're super sus, right? Then she drives away in the night, he follows her, and then like smashes her car a bunch of times, and she like flies off the road, right? And then she gets into a coma, and then he's vibing. He's just vibing, right? And then Amanda's like, this is sus, mixed with the fact that the house is haunted, and you kind of find out that the reason why it's haunted is because it's kind of cursed, and it kind of gives me like the Agamemnon trilogy vibes, which if you don't know what Agamemnon, like the trilogy is, it's an ancient Greek tragedy. And one element out of like the whole trilogy of plays is that the house is cursed, and you kind of don't really know to what extent the house and the curse influences the family that resides in the house. But it's like cursed and it causes them to do terrible things, and so it just made me think of that. It just gave me those vibes. But back to the movie. um, Basically, you find out that the house is haunted by the women who have kind of gone through similar instances that Amanda's going through with her husband, where he's like abusing her. I like how I said like he is abusing her and like causing her like emotional turmoil, and cheating on her and things of that nature. And basically, it seems that the women who are like ghosts in this house try to protect the other women that enter into the home. While there seems like there may be, because I don't think you ever see it, but I believe there's like a male ghost who's fighting back against a woman trying to help the man win this fight, right? And in the end of the movie, this is like poor storytelling, but I watched it a few days ago. If I like said this like right after, I would have remembered better. But I'm sorry, but I kind of want to talk about it, so you know. But in the end, Amanda tries to run away, but her husband sees what's going on and basically drugs her. And then she's like passing out, and then he's super heartbroken and also stressed, and he just murdered like one person, but he put another one in a coma, and he's freaking out, and he's like, you're not gonna run away, especially with our daughter. So he like takes an axe and like butchers her. And then yeah, he like goes, gets the police, and then the police come and check it out, and they're like, is that your ex? And he's like, yeah. And they like move on in the scene, and then it's him with their daughter at his parents' house, and he's like super sad, fake mourning. Okay, the mourning seems kind of real, and he did it as if he had like no other option, but obviously he had other options, right? And then the friend wakes up out of her coma, but not before having a dream of Amanda as an angel with another woman who used to stay in the house before she was murdered previously. And they're both asking like the friend to wake up so she can tell the police everything that happened, get him convicted. But before he can get caught by the police, he goes out to the ocean, and then he's like going into the waves, and then he basically, it kind of looks like it's implied that he's drowning. And he dies, and then it like turns into a like iteration of a prominent painting throughout the movie. And that was the movie, right? And I had a lot of feelings about this. For one, I was watching this movie with one of my best friends, and she was upset because it just seemed like the man won, right? And she was like, that's ridiculous. And I was like, I know. But, like, I think there's supposed to be a sense of justice at the end of this movie. And there kind of is, in the sense that, like, it's presumed that, like, the police would have got him, and also simultaneously he died too, like 1 or 2 days after the wife was murdered by him. But, like, justice is debatable. But that's what happened. And I don't know how you guys feel about that. Also, who else is, like, really proud that Amanda's, like, an incredible actress? Because, like, whenever there's a character whose personality seems like they're just supposed to be stupid, I always, like, want to know what else this actor does. Actor or actresses? Whatever term you want to use. I always want to know, like, what they're doing, you know? Like, what's your personality? Why did you go for this role? Do you feel like this is any depiction of you? Like, what makes this character so alluring to you? Like, sometimes it's just like job opportunities, sometimes it's like, I've heard in interviews, I forgot who it was because it was years ago, but they said that they like playing characters like that because they're like fun, and you know, obviously, like, you're not worried that it's going to be a depiction of like your knowledge and things of that nature. And so it's like, oh, like, I wonder how fun it is. Yeah, so very random, but that's a movie I watched lately, and I kind of want to talk about it, but I kind of I don't think I told the best story with that one, but we'll try again next time. As you can see, this is a shed we're not talking about. I also love this wood pattern on the exterior. I think it's beautiful. I just made this little shed so they had a place to do some archaeology work. When they like move out of this house, though, actually they already have in my save, and I actually started a new house for them, but it's very big and it's kind of ugly, but the inspiration was there. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, I'll probably like delete the shed or something when a new family moves in. I don't know, I'm thinking about it though. I don't know though, but yeah, anyways, comment down below if you guys have like any really great like psychological thriller movie recommendations, and also like maybe where to find them. I have I have a ton of recommend, and honestly I'll probably do that in another video, but I just really love watching like psychological thrillers the most at the moment. My friend really wanted to watch horror, which is why we watch Things Heard and Seen, which is what I just talked about. But I usually don't like horror, because this one I kind of liked. I think I like it more if I knew about like the artistic illusions they made, but yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a super grand day, and I hope to see you all next time. Please like and subscribe. Bye!